Thank you, ladies, for being here tonight. I'm so excited to be with you.
Thank you so much for hosting us and for moderating. Amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, it's brilliant to have you here, Andia. So excited.
Quick story. So when I started the voiceover lab here, these two on the end, I've got to be honest, they were some of my first instructors. And so to be here sitting with you all now is pretty full circle and very exciting. And I'm very thankful to both of you for what you do.
And may I add that Andia is a voice announcer, voice of God in her own right. She did the SAG-AFTRA Awards, the SAG Awards this year on Netflix. So she's
Thanks, Coach.
Yes. She's another VOG.
All right. So who wants to start with the origin story? Sylvia? No?
Start at the end.
Noveen?
Randy?
You want to start?
She's the first one.
No, Noveen, you start. You're to my right.
Okay. Right. Well, I kind of overall, I fell into voiceover to begin with. That wasn't something I was like, I'm going to grow up and do voiceover. Started with acting, fell into voiceover, and it derived from taking voiceover classes, signed with an agent, and then from the auditions, my first one was the 2017 MTV VMAs. Didn't think anything of it, auditioned, got it, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And they were like, okay, we want you to audition now to be the live announcer versus just the pre-recorded. Auditioned for that, ended up getting that too, and I was like, okay, I kind of really enjoy this. This was fun, because I'm a theater kid, so the energy has to come out somewhere. And then the producers from there ended up really loving me and wanted me for the E-People's Choice Awards. So I ended up doing that as well. And then the next year, I ended up becoming the voice of the E! Network. So they were like, okay, well, since you already did our award show, you want to just keep doing it? So I did it for 5 consecutive years after that. After COVID happened and everything, and a lot of people unfortunately lost their jobs, I became a free agent again. So I wasn't in contract with E! Network, and I was able to do many other award shows. And a lot of this also started with meeting Randy from the very beginning and learning from her and looking up to her. And now to be on the same room and on the same level as her, like on a panel with her, I'm like, whoa, this is kind of cool. And then even Sylvia as well, I learned from the both of them. So it's just incredible to be on the same platform with them.
Wonderful. You felt up.
Yes.
You felt into it. Very nice. Well, speaking of Randy, 1993, that's 32 years ago for those of you who are counting. Is that 32? 32.
I was 12.
You were 12. She was 12 years old, but a wee lass. 1993, the 65th Annual Academy Awards. Randy was the first woman in the history to live announce the Academy Awards. Give it up for Randy. And following that, and many other firsts, she was the first to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Emmys, Tonys, which she's done 20 times. She's done a lot of other things. First woman to be the voice of Dateline. She's done it all. She's the first of her name. Randy Thomas, tell us your story.
Wow, well, you've helped me tell it. So I came out of radio. I was a DJ, and I found myself doing mornings on the Wave in Los Angeles, and that's when I got the call. Actually, all of the women on the Wave, we were all asked to audition to be the first woman in history to do the Oscars. And it took about 3 weeks, but I got the call that I was the one. And it literally was life-changing, terrifying. Getting through that first Oscars back in the day, which I sometimes, when I teach, I'll show the reel, because we had to do the carpet. We had to do the red carpet. That was all edited, and we had to do that before we flowed into the show. It was beyond terrifying. I don't even think you can recover from that. And somehow it went well. And I didn't really screw anything up. I did a papa once, but that was it. And as we know, this industry...
A papa is always terrifying.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. For the uninitiated, what is a papa?
So I had to introduce the president of the Academy, but all through the entire intro where I was doing, and a presenter tonight, there's Nicole Kidman, she'll be presenting. And then when it was time, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. So that was my one for thump. And then it was smooth sailing. And the thing is, in a live show, you never know what's going to happen. They're always exciting, always terrifying, until you get the first one under your belt. And so I've done the Oscars 10 times. And Sylvia did her first Oscars. And what did that feel like for you?
2023.
2023. Oh my gosh. That was terrifying.
You became the first Latina to do the Oscars.
Yes. You know, it is as terrifying as you say it is. It's incredibly terrifying. Live shows are very scary. They can be very scary, especially when like there's a lot riding on them. When you know it's a big network, and so it's the ones that not too many people see. You're like, oh, phew. You know, you can relax a little bit more. But yeah, when it's something that is, you know, that big and there's so much writing, it can be a little scary. That was beyond exciting. That's all I'm going to say. It was very exciting. How about that?
Okay, that's not enough. We have but there's more. So Sylvia, you also were in radio.
Yes. So that's how I started. I actually started in radio, and I worked when I lived up in Oregon, and I moved back to Los Angeles. So I'm originally from Los Angeles, and I got a job working as a co-host and producer for the #1 Spanish radio station in Los Angeles, and this is a fun fact. I did not get hired right away. My agents know this story by heart because it's actually quite funny. I called the guy, came in for an interview. He interviewed me. He says, "There's no work for you." And so every single month for 1 year, I called and left a message. "Hi, Adrian. I just called to say hi. Hope you're having a nice Easter. Hi, Adrian. This is Sylvia. Hope you're having a great summer. Hi, Adrian. Hope you're having a great Thanksgiving. Hi, Adrian. Happy New Year." You know. So one day, 1 year later, he calls me. Goes, "Come on in. I wanna talk to you." And he offered me the job. So that's how I started. And
moral of the story is perseverance, y'all. Perseverance and respect.
Perseverance.
Sylvia,
that's right.
showing you the
and
way.
by the way, he never called me back. Never spoke to him. It was all on his voicemail. So I don't even know if he heard. It was just like, hey. But yeah, so I started in radio, and then I heard I heard the story about how you got paid for commercials. Because in radio, you don't get paid for commercials. And I thought, I kind of want to get in on that. How do you do that? And there was a guy who was on air, and he said, well, you just do a demo, and then you get an agent. And I was like, oh,
That's simple.
that's easy. I can do that. So I put together a demo, and he said, that sucks. And so that was my second major learning experience, which is be able to take, to take criticism. And so it made me really good. I just kept trying, and then I got an agent, and that's how it started.
I wonder if there's some folks out there in the ether who are like, oh, that's a lady I turned down. Dang. Yeah. There she is.
Yes. That's right. Wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't that be something? I remember the first person that told me I had no chance. I didn't have what it took when I started a couple years ago. Oh. And I was like, for real? You don't know nothing.
I think that's always been my biggest motivator. Someone telling me I can't do something. Mm-hmm. It's like, really? Watch me.
Exactly.
And yeah, the difference between me, I would never call someone seasonally, but Kevin Gershon, who was both of our boss at Entertainment Tonight, he would say to me, Randy, you realize that you never call these people. So when you do call them, they know you want something. Mm-hmm. They're like, and I'm like, so what do I do? They said, call more often. Just be a friend. Yes. Don't just call when you need something. I'm still working on that.
My manager taught me that exactly, is to be a friend, be a human to them first, build a relationship with them first.
What?
Right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about how the industry has changed. Obviously, 65 years of all male voices, and all of a sudden, 1993, Randy Thomas, first of her name, comes in. Why do you think a change into right now when we're seeing so many female voices and so many diverse voices, people of global majority?
Because we're great. No, honestly, the Oscar director and the producer, Gil Cates, God rest his soul, Gil would say to me, women make an award show like the Oscars, they level it up. we give it the glamour, everything that it needs. And so in this industry, you know, they're not proactive, these producers. They're reactive. So no one was thinking about hiring a woman until a woman got hired. And then they're all like, we need a woman. So luckily for me, in the beginning, I did do all of the shows. The only show I've never done is the Grammys. So I did AFI, I've done 5 Emmys, SAG Awards, all of the shows. And, you know, I think that it's just changed. I think that the women that have followed me have all been so good that it's just continued, and we have permeated the live announce field, the VOG field. But that also means that there's, you know, it's going to reset, and now we'll start hearing more men. So it will go back, and then maybe it'll just be, you never know. It could be a man, it could be a woman.
Just the best voice wins, perhaps.
The best voice wins, we hope.
Speaking of voices, Sylvia speaks 2 languages. She's bilingual. So not only does she announce in English, she also announces in Spanish. Talk about that a little bit. The differences between the Spanish live announce and English live announce, if there is.
Actually, there's so my very first job was in 2002, and it was for the MTV VMAs Latin America. And that was my very first job in Spanish. And I remember it was in Miami. So the work in Spanish is similar but different. So it's similar in that, you know, it just has a where you're dealing with completely different actors and musicians, and you know, so it's when you're doing general market, I call it a general in English, you kind of know most of the players, right? But in Spanish, it's a totally different situation. So whether it's they're actors or they're musicians and singers, so you have to know, you know, on 2 different levels. And I'm sure, I mean, Randy, when you've done the Oscars, the international names are always the hardest. So learning the international names and the pronunciations, that's always tricky. But yeah, so I'm able to do today. I do the Premio Juventud, I do Premio Lo Nuestro, I do the Latin Grammys, I've done the Latin Billboard Awards, and then I do, you know, all the.
She's a VO EGOT. Do y'all know what that means? Yeah. EGOT, Emmys,
Yes.
Grammys, Oscars, Tonys, right here. Still
Listen, guys, I'm going to get the Oscars one day, okay? I know they've gotten it. I'm waiting to go right behind them and get it too.
Right. That's
Darn,
right.
we thought there was going to be one show she didn't want to do.
Right. Exactly. Who wants to do the Oscars? I mean, come on.
Dang. So, Noveen, talk about social media and how you use social media to help the new generation understand the craft of live announce.
Yeah, so at first, I didn't even really want to be on social media. I didn't want to share what I was doing. It's not so much I didn't want to. I'm an introverted extrovert, if that makes sense. So I was private on Instagram. I wasn't on TikTok, wasn't doing all that stuff until I met my husband, who was also my manager at the time. And he's like, you do some cool things. You need to be putting yourself out there and showing people what it is. So finally started creating these videos, putting them out there. Didn't really think anything of it until one day, one of them went viral. And then the next one went viral, and then the next one went viral. And I was like, oh, okay, so people are interested in this. People have never seen this. They don't really understand what we go through backstage. So I was like, okay, let me keep going at it. Let me keep showing them how we do last minute script changes, this and that, all those kinds of things. So I think it was a really good thing to open people's eyes on what live announcing is. We're not a robot. We're not a Siri. We're an actual person behind it. You have to take voiceover classes. You have to act. You have to know how to do all these things to be prepared in an area of voiceover where there are no second chances. There are no second takes. You have to be on it. And if you make a mistake, you need to act like it didn't even happen and learn to improv and pick right back up just where you were before. So I think a lot of importance
Ignore
of
the
it.
papa.
Exactly. You didn't hear that. You didn't hear that. What? Yeah, no. But being able to share that on all these platforms also has become my resume in a way. So a lot of the live announcing gigs I've gotten from the past 2 years have been from social media. It's been about 2 years since I've had to audition for a live announce gig, which has been really awesome, and I'm grateful for those opportunities. But again, it's like you never know who's watching. You don't know who's out there. You don't know who's wanting to hire you for the next live announced gig. So put yourself out there. You never know.
Question: why is live to you all so important? Why is live different than pre-record? And why is live something that's kind of that human essence?
Can I speak to that in a moment? But I just want to touch base because this is so funny to me so we're like in proper order, right? So Noveen's the baby VOG.
I am.
But just realize when I got the Oscars, I found out on my answering machine, and I was paged. So that's how I got the job. And then when I was doing some other jobs, I'm not going to say which one, and I love to take photos, and then I'd post them when Facebook started, and they actually asked me not to take photos. They said, we don't want you doing anything online. And I'm like, why? It didn't matter. That's what they said. So it was very hurtful. I thought it was just me.
But it's the prestige. Back
But
then,
look at how it happens, and
it's
look
about
at what
prestige and-
Noveen has done to change the landscape, to be able to do what she does, to have all these followers so that she doesn't even audition. The people that are looking to help the live shows, why don't you hire this girl? She's got millions of fans. And then your fans tune in, so you help the ratings. Yes. It's just crazy how it's changed.
It's really interesting because you said something earlier, Andia, about why you thought that it went from men to women. But I think that it's just like anything else. I think the trends change, just in general. And I think if you stick around long enough, things will eventually change, because I know for myself, I was not allowed for many years to audition in English. I was not allowed to even participate in the general market period. So
who told you that?
What do you mean? Who told me that?
Who told you that you can't?
That was no, it wasn't. I just was not allowed to. So here's the thing: when you work in Spanish language back in the day, that was it. You were as a Latina, they keep you in a box, and so I was not allowed to do that. But then in 2000, when Ricky Martin, J-Lo, Salma Hayek, then it became cool, right? Then it was like, okay, now they can, now there are Latinos that are bilingual and they're sexy and they're interesting. So then I was invited.
And they can make us money.
And they can make us money.
Because ultimately
that's right.
That's what it's about.
Then the famous crossover happened. And that's when my career changed. Then that's when I was invited to audition for jobs in English. I was able to do bilingual campaigns and, live announcing.
So it wasn't just neglect, it was restrictive. Which is important that people understand.
Absolutely.
We're not allowed.
Not allowed. And I think that happened actually not just for Latinos. I think it was all people of color. You are put in a box and you are not allowed to come in and play in the general market arena. That was it forever. And, I think that was really when I came on board to the SAG-AFTRA, to the DLF lab, my number one goal was to represent, because who I am and what I do did not exist. And it was, it really was incredibly frustrating. And it was very similar to what you, Andia, and what you said, Randy. It's like, if I'm not allowed, watch me. And so I have been sitting here quietly waiting to be in a position to represent, because not only do I speak Spanish and I am very good at what I do, but I am also going to show you that I can do it in general market, and I can do it on a top level, because I don't think, like you said, people don't know until they know. And so if they don't see it, then they can't envision it. So that was my job, was to just take up the space and be here and to show that it can be done.
Sylvia is also the first person to introduce me to the concept of genre fluidity.
I love that so much. Yes.
So, working in commercials, promo, narration, in-show narration, live announce, animation, video games, all these things are different crafts within the craft of voiceover. And this woman is an example of someone who does that very well and also spreads the word about it. Both Randy and Sylvia are on the Don LaFontaine advisory board here at the lab, the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, and they help steward young careers in the craft. So thank you for that.
And thank you for saying that, because I think that I didn't really jump into it with that idea that I'm going to do everything. It was more because I didn't have the opportunities to create a career based on just promo or just commercials. I had to do a lot of different things and become really good at a lot of different things. Where now I think it's kind of important, right, to be able to do a lot of different things. And exactly what you said, Randy, it's like, it's really wonderful to see that now we are allowed to do social media. We are allowed to be out there. We are allowed to be, it's actually a plus, where before it's like, you're going to sign an NDA. You can't talk about it. You can't post about it. There's no photos. And then, so now it's really, again, the trend is changing.
Oz is being shown. We know who Oz is now. Oz is a woman.
Yes.
So you were asking about
what makes live
versus
just pre-record, or just what is it about live that is so distinct in your experience?
I believe that if you do live, then you get a sense of how you sound in a space. You get a sense of the tempo that you need to speak at for people to hear you, to tell them, be seated, it's time to be seated. The show will begin in 5. But all of that in a live show, then when you record and it's going to be played back live, you just take all of that with you. You do it as though you are speaking to a live audience. And if you've had the benefit of doing that, it's just another
it's
gear.
Apropos that all three of you come from kind of a musical background, because music, disc jockeys, also musical theater, timing, synchrony, all these things are very important. So what other skills are important, distinct about live announce versus other genres, for example?
I think being able to handle just the thrill of live announce, for me, I love it, the thrill, the excitement of it, but it's like being on stage. If you're performing, you have to be okay with that. You have to have that courage. You have to be confident in yourself. If there is one hint or doubt of just you're doubting yourself, it's going to show and it's going to play out in your voice. You have to have that confidence within yourself. And I think growing up in musical theater really helped with that, and being on stage really helped with that. So that's why I always advise people to take acting classes. Put your wall down, be vulnerable, feel what it's like. Because even though you're backstage at a live award show, you are still live on the mic. So I love being there in person to be able to connect with the audience, feel their energy, feel their vibe, so I can kind of relate to that tune. We're all on like one roller coaster ride together.
You mentioned something that people don't understand. The setup of the live announcer, the voice of God, voice of goddess, it's not sexy. Talk about it. Talk about how unsexy your digs are when you record.
We're in a box.
We're in a box.
We're in a box.
Yes.
That's not glamorous. Everything else on stage is glamorous and the red carpet and all of that stuff, but we're literally just in a random room. It's cold. Oh, it's cold.
They might be
It
in
is
a
cold.
trailer. They might be in a box by a bathroom in the back corner of the...
In a random room.
You might be in a bathroom
Yes.
with some padding, some towels.
We're usually the
there
last
was
one
an
thought about.
announcer that did the Emmys one year from the bathroom. I can't remember his name. If Kevin was here, he would tell me. It was at the Beverly
Were there any
Hilton.
live mics? No.
It was
No?
right. But
Can you imagine?
wait, I was going to say something. And
Stay
it just
focused.
went out
You're
my
good.
head.
He was in the bathroom at the Emmys.
Yeah. Oh, so where we work. So when I do when I've done the Kennedy Center honors, they literally put you in the engineer's closet, the carpenter closet.
The carpenter
You
closet.
did the carpenter
She's not
closet.
kidding.
They build your
No.
booth in the
There's
carpenter
like, there are
closet.
nails and hammers.
Yes.
And the
Like
whole
if
thing.
if there was a giant magnet near that door, you would die. The nails, everything would come flying at you. But that's what we do. One time last summer during the Democratic convention, when we thought Beyonce was going to perform, I got on a flight to New York. I had cut Nightlines open. No, it wasn't Nightline. It was for the Democratic Convention on ABC. And I cut it before I got on the flight. I get off the flight. They're like, Beyonce, copy change, find a place to record. Have you ever tried to record at the airport? I went into the bathroom. I'm like, no, this won't work. I was running around the airport. I am a sweaty mess. I find a hallway that I'm not supposed to go down. I see an outlet. I throw my stuff on the floor. I open my laptop and I pulled my coat over my head. And I recorded.
And Beyonce
and
was
later
wiser.
tonight,
Beyonce was, she's like, who said my name so
Right.
dulcet
it
tones?
was terrible. It was terrible audio. But somehow the amazing engineer at ABC made it sound halfway decent. But it didn't match the front half. So I think he added like applause or some other kind of. But it was crazy.
So that's something we should talk about too. These are individuals who work on a team. One of the big parts about voiceover in general and live announce specifically is the idea of collaboration. Tell me about collaboration.
That is my favorite thing. See, for me, that is what I love. I love collaborating. That is it, just because it's not you. I mean, I think there's the idea that it's, ta-da, I'm here and I'm fabulous. Where in fact,
you are pretty fabulous. Let's be real.
Well, it takes work.
a village.
Yeah, but
It takes a team.
Exactly, it takes a team. But if you really think about it, it takes the audio department. It takes the engineer. It takes the director, your first AD. It takes the writing department to make sure that you've got the scripts, the script changes. So there's so much collaboration, and it's one of the things that I love the most is collaborating. I think anybody who understands and has been working in the industry in this particular area, if you don't know how to collaborate, that you're going to have a hard time, because it is really it's teamwork.
Yeah.
It's teamwork.
To go off of that, a lot of the folks working behind the stage at these live award shows work all the same live award shows, whether they're traveling out of LA, going to New York, all over the country. It's all the same people that we're working with. So having a good attitude, being on time, being open to collaborate, being able to take direction, and just being a good sport. That's what you want.
You're heard it here, folks. First. Here.
Yep.
Yes.
And what is the difference? And what you asked Andia about what is it about live announce? I think that there's something very different from doing a commercial or doing a promo, because you can redo it. Mm-hmm. Whereas with live announce, you turn that button on and there is no going back. You cannot undo what you just did. So, for me, it comes from, working in radio. There is that sense of like an immediacy. There's that sense of connection with your audience. And also, I am a huge fan of, I think, storytelling for me is everything. And I think that one of the most primitive sources of storytelling is your voice. Mm-hmm. So if you can tell a great story, and just with the microphone, that's it. You're a disembodied voice, and you're kind of taking people on a little journey with your voice. And that takes a very specific skill. I think that there is something really fantastic, like you said, Queen, about, being able to open that mic and feel the energy in the room, feel the audience, listen to the music, because it's all connected. And then hear your director and what they're going to say, and you're there to serve the production. You are there to serve that moment. It's not about how great do I sound. It's like, how am I going to serve this production?
Sylvia was just talking about being a storyteller, and I don't want to let this moment go by that here we are in the Tom Hanks Theater, in the Meryl Streep Center for Performing Artists, where the Don LaFontaine voiceover lab lives. And having been a part of, when I got the call from Joe and Paul, do you want to be part of this? I was like, I am in. And that was early in, when we used to just have a little VO lab. Now look at where we are. And when you think about someone like Don, who was the ultimate storyteller, he would be the guy, it's like you would print it out and he would say, read out loud, read everything. You know, read the plaque at the base of the Statue of Liberty. Bring tears to your own eyes. And I always loved that was how he really felt about touching people with your voice, with the emotion that you can bring.
The importance of Rio culture, very important. Lightning round. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
So here's what's going to happen. No thinking. Just spit it out.
Oh, man.
Okay. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's all safe. It's all safe. It's all safe.
First question's not safe. Watch. She's like, gotcha.
All right. We already answered the strangest place you've recorded, but let's go ahead and go it again. I know toilet or airport for Randy. Sylvia?
Toilet.
Toilet?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Active toilet?
No, not an active toilet, but a toilet.
Noveen?
In a garage, in the backseat of my car, under a blanket.
In my garage, in the back.
No, not in a public garage. And the thing is, you would think a public garage would be quiet. Oh, no. You hear the rumble of every car going down. That microphone picks up everything. There's no quiet place on earth. No.
Most major mistake live.
I said someone's name, but I switched the first letter of the first name and the last name and switched them. But the thing is, I was so confident about it, no one even really noticed. And then later I was like, I'm so sorry.
Mine was the very first job I ever did, and it was the end of the show, and I turned on the mic and I didn't know. And when the host, it was Diego Luna, by the way. Diego Luna was hosting it, the MTV VMAs Latin America, and they were talking, and it went wong 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 wong. And I looked down. You know when you know that moment where you look down like it's slow motion, and it goes. It was like a
Your whole
zoom
world
in,
just like stopped.
and it was like, oh my God! I turned it off. I never told anyone, so now everybody knows.
That's so funny.
This is going on YouTube,
Sorry,
by the way.
Diego.
It's going right on the
So,
internet.
you know,
no.
you get two kinds of boxes. One, you press it once and it's live, the mic is hot, and as soon as you're done speaking, you press it to turn it off. It illuminates so you know when you're hot. But then there's the other one, which I really hate, and that's the button you have to press and hold it
Don't like the
until
hold
you're
one.
done speaking. You can't. So those are the two kind of boxes.
It's the
You've
press
got-
and hold one.
yeah. But for me, when I did the Oscars one year, maybe 2017, it was a foreign film and they won. It was a couple. And as I said the name, I knew I had mispronounced it. So what Noveen said before, you've got to be present and you can either overlook it and just keep moving because no one on the air, no one would have known I mispronounced these people's name. But they were like from a country in Europe and I'm like, they just won an Oscar. Their family is watching. They're in the audience. They heard me miss. So in that moment,
that.
as I'm talking, all of a sudden I just went, that would be, and I just said their name again. And I said it perfectly as
Consummate
they were
professional.
walking up to get their Oscar. So
That's a good save.
it was important for me.
Starting back with you, Randy. Favorite show and or experience in your live announce career?
Oh, that I've ever done? I got to say Oscars. You know, Oscar brought me to the dance. So that's going to be my,
What
I
a
mean,
first
20,
dance card, too. I mean, imagine that.
Well,
Oscars.
20 years of Tony's was pretty impressive, but that's a New York thing. And I love New York. I was born in New York. And so I really relate to being there. But I'm such an LA girl. And yeah, so.
Oh, specificity.
Oh, my favorite. You know what? It would be the 2019 Oscars because it was the one where I did the entire show myself. There was no host. So if you ever Google an Oscars, that is my proudest show. Not one fa-funk. No, I did not screw anything up. And I took that job very seriously, knowing I am going to take them through a 3-hour plus show with no host. We had lots of comedy and comedians and different bits throughout. But in my head, without telling the audience, my projection was, I am going to take you through this show, and it's amazing. And I was just that voice that guided, and I think I felt the most confident
You knocked it
that
out the
year.
park. You did. Yeah. You did. You did. Sylvia?
So I'm gonna say my favorite. I see. I love all the shows that I do. They're all like so exciting, and every single one I do, I always think, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is amazing." Every show is like so over the because I feel the same way. I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. I'm so excited. I love what I do." But I think probably the one that I think I really enjoyed that was like super fun were the Latin Grammys, and it was in Vegas, and I did the entire week. There were multiple shows because it was like, best new artists, leading ladies, the main Oscars, person of the year. It was like, and literally I would go from one show and I would run down the hall and I'd do the other one. And it was just really wonderful. And being in that energy of new music, which is like that's like my heart, I love music. So going, doing that was really phenomenal. But I mean, Oscars, Oscars that was pretty.
There have been 3 women in history, by the way, who've done the Oscars. 3, not 3? Really?
I know at least 4.
Really?
Janora McDuffie, and then
McDuffie in 2022. Sylvia, Randy.
Hang on.
We'll get back to it. Keep moving.
Okay.
I'm a blurter. I'll blurt.
I'm going to have to say 2, one for live announcing and one for PA announcing that I've started getting into the sports world. For live announcing would be the SAG Awards, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, because there I got to meet my idol, Selena Gomez, which was amazing there. And also that was during COVID time. So I had to go get that shot right before the show because they weren't letting anyone else in unless you got the shot. How to get the shot. My arm was pulsing the entire show. I was like, oh my gosh, because that was like affecting me. But I got to meet Selena Gomez. But for PA announcing,
PA means public address.
Public address announcing. If you've seen any of my social media, I've made my way into sports somehow. So I've been able to PA announce for the San Francisco 49ers. I was part of the first all-female PA announcing team. I've done NASCAR, and I just recently did FIFA's first halftime show. I was the voice of that. So out of those 3, I would say the 49ers, because I get to be on the field, I get to be with the crowd, and it's so thrilling, so exciting. And it's not live, so you can just blow all your energy out and have excitement, and it's great. And there's another, I was the entertainment announcer, so there's also the play-by-play announcer, Jamie Coffey, who does it every year with me. And I don't know plays, honestly. I'd be like, the ball went that way and the person in the blue got it. I don't know. So I'm the entertainment announcer, so that's my favorite PA gig that I've done.
So Gina Tuttle did the Oscars.
There we go.
Featuring Fox did the Oscars twice.
Okay.
Melissa Disney.
Disney.
Yes.
Me, Sylvia, and
Janora McDuffie.
Janora.
Yep.
Okay, so 5.
Yeah.
6.
7.
Somewhere.
They're gonna pick 6.
Around that area.
A rough estimate.
All right. Absolute no, quick. Absolute no. No.
Absolute no.
Day of show, live.
No eating. Oh, absolute no. Make sure that you go to the bathroom before and you know your pee breaks. Must know the pee breaks.
Yes.
Because we drink so much water. We have to pee all the time. But at the Tonys, the potty's right there. You're in a...
Because you're recording in the potty.
Well, no, you're at Radio City, and that's where the Rockettes are. They put you in a Rockette dressing room, and so the potty is in another room, but it's right there. That's my favorite. But when I did the Oscars, they didn't have a bathroom for us. You would use those, the porta potties.
Royal flush.
So one year I went and I said, "Listen, can we please get a bathroom?" I was in a truck with 4 other people that were working the show. I said, "Can we have the key just for us, just for our truck?" I found out after that year, I have always been referred to as Randy Thomas, the potty diva. But now everybody gets a potty. Did you get the potty key?
I
Thank
got
you.
the potty key.
You're welcome.
I'm very
Union
excited.
rules
Yeah.
alive. Very nice.
very
Randy,
exciting.
you changed my life because that potty I was right next to the potty, and I can thank Randy for that potty. Okay, no.
My no. I mean, with social media going on right now, a few people have asked me to do this, and I was like, "You are insane." Don't go to a live show and think you can just stream. Some people are like, "Oh, can you be live while you're doing it?" No, I'm on the job. You will see the clips after and stuff like that. But that's where I draw the line with social media and doing my actual job. That's not going to cross over like that. Unless the gig itself is like, we're going to put this live on that's their decision, but that's something I've been asked before, and I'm like,
stay focused on your craft.
Exactly. There's already a lot going on in our ears, so no.
I don't know how you have managed to capture last minute copy changes where it's like, and you're scribbling and you're scrambling, and she catches it on tape. I'm like, I would be out of my mind.
It just happens. I just have it rolling for certain takes. So I'll go through my book and I'm like, okay, which ones do I want to, which of my favorite celebrities are big ones that I feel like would be good to post? And I'll just make a note of that. So I record in between different takes that I do. And sometimes I forget that it's on because I just leave it there. So it'll just be there rolling. And then
long run.
that something like that just happened. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, oh, I caught that. That should be good. So it's literally not planned at all.
Let's talk about the actual day of show, the run of show, because I think a lot of folks don't quite know. We know we're now close to a potty, right? We're in an enclosed space, a box, a closet. What does
By the way, the bathroom is a very important part of, so we talk a lot about it because it is a big deal. Okay.
So the reason why the bathroom is central to our conversation tonight is about the structure of your show. So when you show up on show day or the day before, work us through what happens.
So the amount of money that a show has determines how much rehearsal you get. Oscars has the most money. You get at least 4 days of rehearsal. Tonys, you get a day and a half. Other shows, maybe 2 days.
The day before or the day of, the morning of.
Right. So depending on the show is how.
And rehearsals
But
can be
so it's the
rehearsals
final
and then
rehearsal.
tech rehearsal. So rehearsal, everyone's comes on stage and they might be dressed in their pajamas.
It's a dress. Yeah,
But
a
then
dress
tech
rehearsal.
Dress rehearsal. Then there's also tech rehearsal, which is when they explain.
It follows dress rehearsal. If anything went wrong, we've got to fix it so that we can do then just a tech run through for all the things that have to fire.
Let's talk about your tools. So you walk into your little closet, potty.
I
You have
have a talent writer. J-Lo has white roses and white candles. I have water, a highlighter, tabs, and that's it. That's the most, those are the most important things. You have to have a highlighter, a pencil,
Kleenex.
Kleenex.
maybe some tea.
Well, that I can do without the tea as long as I have water. Water,
Yeah.
pencil, highlighter, and the tab so that I can tab.
Like the little post-it notes.
Yeah, they're little
notes.
post-it notes.
You tab where your live lines are. And then for me, I always tab my pre-recorded lines because there's always that possibility that it
Colors.
didn't work. So we need you to read this live. It's happened.
So the script, so you all know, imagine a notebook in front of you. It's back to school time. You get all these colors and tabs, and all your script is in. It's fun. The script is in a notebook, a hard cover
Yeah, it's like a
notebook,
binder, yeah.
binder. And then what happens? So you get there. It's day of rehearsal. or
So
morning rehearsal.
for me, usually what I do is I get the binder, and many times it's already tabbed, but sometimes I have to do it myself. So either myself or my assistant will do it, and we tab it, and then you just basically go through. Well, I do. I go through the pages. I read if there's any names that are tricky. A lot of times the names are a big issue. So you have to make sure, have they been sounded out? Do I have all the proper pronunciation for it? Yeah, the phonetic, it's been written out phonetically. If not, then I have to ask, hopefully before the show. A lot of times it is, sometimes though it's not. So I have to kind of either YouTube it or, find out, okay, how do you say this name?
They'll ask the talents, like managers and people too, on
Take some
pronunciation.
recording.
But if they can't do it, we literally YouTube it. And
Yeah.
we learn it from
We have to
YouTube.
Well, I
day
think
of.
if worse comes to worse, the stage manager that's got that talent someone will say, can you ask him with, like right next to your lapel, wherever your mic is, say your name.
Yeah.
We listen.
Sometimes they'll record it too and send you like the MP3 recording. I've had that done.
And then the other thing is when the names, because the names, bathrooms and names. So the names sometimes can be, John Smith. And you think, I got this, John Smith. And they say, it's not Smith, it's Smythe. Or,
it's not
or
Aaron,
the
it's
S,
A.A. Ron.
or the S is silent. So it's myth. So, you can't take things for granted with the
One
names.
time, Catherine, I thought it was Zeta Jones, and I found, and this was in rehearsal, and she was quick. It came back in my headphones. It's Zeta like cheetah. Okay, Catherine
good
Zeta
to know.
Jones. Got it.
Good to know.
And the duration of your shows, how long typically are shows? So sorry, the joke, it was happening in my head. It said trapped in the closet, and I was like, oh man.
Shows are like 2 hours
Kelly, no?
average.
I would have got that joke. That's fine. We're gonna
Went over
kill
my
it,
head,
kill it.
yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
3 hours.
Some shows that I've done are 2-ish. I've done some that are more. MTV and I think People's Choice are around 2-ish. And then I've done ones that are like 1 hour, which is like Artios Awards, like the casting director awards. They're a little bit shorter like that. But usually if they're live, that's when it tends to be a little bit longer.
Talk about what's
too.
happening in your mind, because you have the headset on your head, and what are you hearing in your headset?
Everyone.
And what does that mean?
You hear the director, you hear the crew members, so whether that's lighting, whether that's cameras, whether that's the assistant, the AD, who's also counting the show as well, but also cueing you if the director's cueing the other people. So it's a lot going on in your ear. And the thing is, I like to have one headphone on and then the other one slightly off so I can also hear myself as I'm announcing. But the only voice you need to listen for is the one that's cueing you. And for some people, that can be a little hard to distinguish someone's voice and put out the others and ignore the others. But again, that's where like the training kind of comes in with that.
Typically, they'll say live announce, which is your cue, and then you'll.
There's ready announce, standby announce, cue announce.
And go announce.
Yep. Sometimes they'll use your
Go
name
announce.
if you want.
Go. Because that's when they're crazed. Just go. Go announce.
Go announce, cue announce, go Queen. Like, it'll be a mixture of those. But sometimes directors will ask me, what do you want me to call you? What do you want me to say? I'm like, whatever you have in your mind, let me know and I'll go off of that.
I'm like
'Cause it's already in your
voiceover
mind.
goddess.
That too, actually.
All right. If someone wants to get into live announce, what are some qualities that help them be heard and then chosen in a competitive field?
Training.
I think that if you want to get into live announce, I think that you just have to have the confidence to do it. Really, I mean, I don't think that there is a specific path. Everybody has, different ways of getting into it. I mean, the way you got into it, the way I got into it, the way you got into it, or the way you got into it, right? We all have a different path on getting into, into commercial or animation or whatever it happens to be. So I think for live announce, if that's what you want to do, I mean, you just practice, record yourself. I think it's like anything else. Record yourself doing stuff, listen to the shows and transcribe what you're hearing. And, and just, I mean, I recently had that conversation with someone, push back the cringe of like what that would feel like. And if you hear yourself and you go, oof, I didn't like the way that came out, or you think you sound a specific way and then you hear yourself back and you go, I don't like that. It's like, just keep practicing, just practice it and get confident with yourself. And then, just go for it. I don't think there's a specific path. I don't think.
And also
So
here at the
it'll be
SAG-AFTRA
live.
Foundation, you can come and get lessons for
Yes.
FREE free. That's where I learned it.
You know what?
must.
And that's exactly right. It's like we have such an amazing opportunity here at the SAG Foundation with all the classes, and they're free to our members. And I am a huge fan of what we do here. I mean, that you can come here and you can listen to experts in their field, like the top of the top, and learn from them and take classes from them. And you can take an animation class, and you can take, a live announce class, and you can take any kind of a class for free from like the best. So you
from
can't get better than-
Sylvia, from Randy, from Noveen.
from Andia.
My
from
live
Queen.
announce masterclass is coming up in September, so I'm really excited about that. It's halfway sold out already, but I do highlight Sylvia, I do highlight Randy in my class because they are people that I've looked up to and learned from, and I think it's super important to know about them and know about even the male announcers in our voiceover world as well.
All right, last thing I want to ask y'all. Close us out in your favorite ending of a show. Go down the line. Noveen, you're first.
Oh no. They always put this, and I'm just like, it doesn't feel natural. Thanks for joining, and see you next year. I'm like, how do I say that naturally?
I think part of it's your face. You're like, hey.
Next year, literally.
I had actually negotiated with the producer and director of the Oscars, and because the men used to sign off saying their name, and I'm like, can I do that? So it was like, for the 67th Annual Academy Awards, this is your announcer, Randy Thomas. So getting to do that, and then I did it for the Tonys. I sort of went in with, when I do this, I close the show. And one year they had a music piece that would close the show. And they're like, we can't let you, you're not going to be able to say goodbye. We're going out with music. I'm like, okay. And then they never let me do it again. So, I love that. But that's my fave.
I got
Make
one.
one up.
No.
It's gonna be like
En español. En español.
you don't gotta go home, but you gotta get out of here.
Oh my God. Thanks for coming. How about that?
Thanks for coming, everyone. Thank you so much to Randy, Sylvia, and Naveen.